All right, folks, here we are again. It's, well, today it doesn't matter. Let's see, this is final predictions for the Screen Actors Guild Awards. They're coming up this Saturday, what is it, the 30th? If I've got my calendar right. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to make the video here first. It's not Friday, but I'll probably post it on Friday or maybe Thursday. Anyways, these are my final predictions going into the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Most of the time here at SAG, it's pretty easy to get a good accuracy here. Usually by now in the Oscar race and just in all these races here, we have at least one or two categories that we feel pretty safe on. But this year, I'm thinking, as far as SAG goes here, and we'll include the Film Stunt Ensemble Award here too as one. So that's the six big film awards. They have a lot more on the TV side, which I don't predict, so or at least not confidently enough to make videos about it. So we are just going to go with these six categories here. And of these six, I think only two are solidified locks where it's probably on the level of like an Adrian Brody or something like that if somebody else would take it. So with that being said, we are going to go through these bad boys here. All right, we're going to start with that film ensemble category for the stunt ensemble, I should say. Just a recap here, I'll name off the nominees as well. Here are the nominees are Everest, Furious 7, Jurassic World, Mad Max, Fury Road, and Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. This, I think, is an easy one. It's got to be Mad Max, right? I mean, none of the other four films are nominated for any Oscars going forward. None of them are on the DGA or any of the other guild lists, big ones at least. Maybe like the visual effects, I think Jurassic World is there, maybe, but yeah. So I don't see anybody but Mad Max taking this. I mean, first of all, and personal opinion doesn't really matter way too much here. But as far as I'm concerned, Mad Max was the best action film of the year. I mean, maybe Everest isn't exactly an action film, but um, I had a lot of fun with Jurassic World and Mission Impossible, and Furious 7 was good too. But I think Mad Max just is of the films listed here, it's the best one. It has the best reviews, and it has 10 Oscar nominations. The other ones have 0 each. So yeah, I think this is in a cakewalk. I think this is going to be Mad Max Fury Roads to take here. So yeah. Let's move on here. Supporting actress. Okay, this has got to be one of the toughest categories of the night. This and I think film ensemble are the two that if I get wrong, I'm not going to be totally mad at myself because there's really about three ways this can go. Yeah, I'm just going to say three ways because our nominees are let's see if I can get this here. Rooney Mara, because I lost it for a second there. Rooney Mara for Carol, Rachel McAdams for Spotlight, Helen Mirren for Trumbo, Alicia Vikander, The Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet, Steve Jobs. Yeah, I'd say everybody except Mirren and McAdams have a real dog in this fight. Mara has been our real front runner here, really since everything began back in July, August, when people started predicting this award. Though, of course, there's the big argument of is she supporting, is she lead, and she's ended up being supporting most of the time. Just the Golden Globe, she ended up lead. And yeah, as far as I've been noticing, and I haven't, I'm not particularly looking out for it, but with her and Vikander too, because the Danish Girl, her performance in that was lead at the Globes and also at BAFTA. So she's kind of, it kind of was between a rock and a hard place for winning that over Mara, but she did win Critics' Choice, and Kate Winslet won the Golden Globes. So Mara so far has only the Cannes Actress Award, which she tied with somebody else back in May on her side. And then Vikander, yeah, with Critics' Choice, yeah, that's a good bellwether there. And then Kate Winslet, Steve Jobs, Golden Globe. That's something at least. Yeah, I've been of a mind a little bit maybe to switch to Vikander because, well, with a few exceptions, this is kind of like what happened with Lupita Nyong'o back back with 12 Years a Slave. She lost the Globe to Jennifer Lawrence in American Hustle, and then won Critics' Choice. She did win SAG, Lupita did. And then she lost BAFTA, though, to Jennifer again, and then ended up winning the Oscar. Here, Vikander is going to have a very similar route. She lost the Globe to Kate Winslet. She won the Critics' Choice. If she wins this is probably a good sign that she's going to get the vote. And then I don't think she's going to win actress over at BAFTA. Again, she's in that lead actress category, not this supporting actress. So it would be the same places that Lupita Nyong'o won. But you have to think about it too. Lupita, though, was at one point considered an early frontrunner for the category for probably a good 3 or 4 week stretch there before Jennifer Lawrence came in and won the Globe, and then she got more or less the advantage on Lupita. And then at the same time, she was also in what ended up being the Best Picture of the Year with 12 Years a Slave at the Oscars. So, but Vikander is in a film that only has one other nomination here at SAG, and that's for Eddie Redmayne in lead actor. And it only has 2 technical nominations at the Oscars alongside Redmayne and herself for the film. Yeah, so that's a couple of things to keep in mind. And another thing, too, though, you have to keep in mind, and I think I said this in the last video I did about PGA, and we'll get back to that in a minute, of course, with Best Picture here, or Film Ensemble, as they call it. Mara and Winslet are, as well as Vikander, none of them are in a film that's nominated for Best Picture this year with their acting performance. So, of these 3, none of them are up for Best Cast, the Best Ensemble Award either. So that doesn't help us at all. So yeah, I think I can see the potential here, though, for a Kate Winslet to win off of a split vote. So many people go with Rooney, so many people go with Vikander. Other people are stuck in the middle, and they'll go with Kate Winslet, and she does have the Globe. And yeah, I'm thinking as I've kind of been saying this, but if Winslet wins this, she has the Globe on her side. That probably gives her an advantage over Rooney Mara at BAFTA. If she wins there, she's got the Oscar, no problem. If Vikander wins, I'm probably going to put her ahead of... I have Rooney Mara winning the Oscar, too, at the moment. I have her winning here at SAG, too. But if Vikander wins, she has Critics' Choice and the SAG now, and she's on track to be like Lupita, and I think it'll be enough for her to win the Oscar at that rate. And then if Mara wins it, then we really have to wait and see till BAFTA, because if she wins, and Rooney will be up for supporting at BAFTA as well, against Winslet again. So it'll have to, if Mara wins this in BAFTA, I think that'll be enough for her to pull through. So yeah, I've got Mara down, but again, Vikander or Winslet, either one, I can see winning this. Okay, we're going to move on to supporting actor. This one I thought at first was going to be a little easy, but now, oh boy. Now I can see a scenario, excuse me, where 4 of these 5 contenders could win. The nominees, by the way, are Christian Bale for The Big Short, Idris Elba for Beasts of No Nation, Mark Rylance, Bridge of Spies, Michael Shannon, 99 Homes, and Jacob Tremblay for Room. I can see everybody. Shannon, I think, is the only one who who might as well just go ahead and not show up, because he's I don't see any support for him. Of course, him and Elba and Tremblay are not nominated at Oscars or at BAFTA. Elba's nominated at BAFTA, but not Shannon or Tremblay. So, okay, the way I see them going with Tremblay is if Room is just sweeps everything, because I have it winning actress as well. We'll get to that in a minute. So they could just go on a Room rampage there and go ahead and just pick it for both, because it's not like it's kind of, well, I'm not sure if I want to go ahead and say it's a you can't have one without the other because yeah, I think definitely Tremblay's performance influences Larson's performance, and definitely Larson's performance influences Tremblay's performance. Um, but yeah, I can see them. Slight possibility if the other three guys here, Bale, Elba, and Rylance, really start splitting votes, then Tremblay, I think, if he has just enough support, I think might pull it off. But I've got him underneath Bale, Elba, and Rylance. So Christian Bale with The Big Short winning PGA last weekend, it's showing more strength really than than it has up to this point, with the exception of when when it got into when he and the film got in here at SAG, and then when it got 4 nominations at the Globes, everybody just jumped on that getting in for picture, which I did. I did as well. I can't remember if I did it just before or just after, but yep, saw that one coming for a nomination at least. And then I put it in for PGA, put it in eventually for DGA after it got in just all sorts of stuff otherwise. And then after it got in at BAFTA, yeah, I for sure put it in for DGA. And after he got in, Adam McKay, then I put him in at the Oscars for director. That paid off. Anyways, so we're on a tangent here, but anyways, Bale, yeah, with all that support for Big Short going around, and if it does end up losing Film Ensemble, which I have predicted at the moment for Spotlight to win that, not Big Short, I can see a situation where they say, well, Rylance, and Bridge of Spies doesn't have any other support here. Beasts of No Nation, though, I think is a little more of a viable option, and we'll get to Elba here in a minute. But if those two split again, and they just don't go for Tremblay, I think Christian Bale, and that's a sign that The Big Short is popular here. And then on top of that too, so I think most people now are jumping on the Sylvester Stallone bandwagon for him winning supporting actor. And Bale actually might end up being the closest competition to him if Rylance loses BAFTA too. And remember too that Stallone is not nominated at BAFTA either. But I just think with the industry behind him, everybody behind him, the attention he's gotten, the respect he has, and everything, I think he'll win supporting actor. But even without SAG or BAFTA nominations. Okay, Idris Elba is the one I'm really worried about here because. First of all, Beasts of No Nation is the only one of these 5, with the exception of Big Short, that has a ensemble nomination too. So they might want to, with that much support for it, because I think Beasts of No Nation for his individual nomination was the only one anybody had predicted for this. I don't know if anybody saw the nomination coming for Best Ensemble for Beasts of No Nation, which ended up being 3 people. God, wow. That over like Steve Jobs or a Room even, Carol. I mean, come on, seriously. Anyways, but I digress. And then on top of that too, this whole the thing of hashtag Oscars so white, which I've made a video about it. Watch that. It's industry so white, Hollywood so white, not Oscars. Come on. Anyway, so with that, and with that attention now just being the epicenter of everything when it comes to conversations about the Oscars this year, that people might feel guilty enough. They might say, "Well, let's give it to Idris." He's nominated over on the TV side for Luther. It's like in the mini series or whatever, one of those categories, alongside Mark Rylance and. Yeah, I went ahead and put Idris Elba to win on the TV side, so I think they'll award him. But I just think I'm going with Rylance to win this over here on the film side, though, for supporting actor because, well, first of all, I think he's the closest competition to Stallone at the Oscars. He also has shown up everywhere. He showed up at BAFTA, at Oscars, here at SAG, of course, at Golden Globes, at Critics' Choice. He's won early on in December, a couple of the Critics' Prizes for Best Supporting Actor. And at one point, he was actually ahead of the polls for a couple of people anyways. I don't think I ever put him at number 1 for the Oscars, but But yeah, he's probably the most consistent of all of the supporting actors this year. Bale's gotten into a lot of places. Elba got into a lot of places. Stallone has a fair few. Shannon got into quite a few. But yeah, as it turns out, Rylance was the one I think got in everywhere, and the only one too. So I think with that, plus he's a very respected actor. Anyways, he's got I think 2 or 3 Tonys on his shelf. So he's got the pedigree of previous wins in theater, which I think helped. If we go way back to F. Murray Abraham, even though they didn't have a Screen Actors Guild Awards then, I think that helped him because he was a very, very famous British actor of the theater who then transitioned into film, and boom, right away, here comes an Oscar with Amadeus. And yeah, so I think Rylance will win here, but I'm not extremely confident here. Elba, I can see whoever announces this saying Idris Elba instead of Rylance, or even Christian Bale, or even Jacob Tremblay. So yeah, this is one. Yeah, just I'm just going with my gut instinct, which tells me Rylance. He's shown up everywhere. He's already got awards. He's probably not going to win on the TV side. This will be their chance to award him. So I'll go with that. Okay, Best Actress, Leading Actress. The nominees are Cate Blanchett in Carol, Brie Larson in Room, Helen Mirren, Woman in Gold, Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn, and Sarah Silverman, I Smile Back. Sarah, sorry, don't bother showing up. Helen, yeah, it's probably not going to happen either. I think this is Brie Larson's pretty easily. So the only other exception I can see is if maybe Saoirse or Kate, if they just decide something else. If something weird happens, I think one of those two would take it, but I doubt it. Brie Larson, I mean, she's got Tremblay also nominated for Room. Room is Best Picture nominee, also a Best Director nominee. It's got a couple nominations at BAFTA going forward. It didn't get in at DGA, but nobody really expected it to. So yeah, I think Larson's got the Oscar too at this point. So yeah, I think that'll just line up. Best Actor. Okay. Now, probably less than 24 hours ago, I would have said Leo wins this in a cakewalk. He's got the Oscar already. When he won the Golden Globe, that speech he gave is pretty much his Oscar speech. Count it out. He's going to win this thing. He's lost, what is it now, 5 times. Four for acting. Then he produced Wolf of Wall Street, which lost Best Picture, of course. There's the same feeling we get with like a Paul Newman, the year of Color of Money, or almost a Peter O'Toole, a couple of years, where you just get this feeling of it's got to be this person. They've been nominated so many times, it's time for them to take it. The nominees, by the way, I should say, Bryan Cranston in Trumbo, Johnny Depp Black Mass, Leonardo DiCaprio Revenant, Michael Fassbender Steve Jobs, Eddie Redmayne The Danish Girl. Yeah, I don't think Redmayne or Depp stand a chance. And Fassbender, if Steve Jobs was a film ensemble nominee, I might put him a little higher with his odds than I have now. But since he's not, and since the film isn't a film ensemble nominee, I think if they do want to give Steve Jobs anything, they're going to go with Kate Winslet. If at all, if Mara and Vikander both lose. Yeah, so I would say Fassbender, yeah, if he would have a better shot, but he's got not only Leo in the way, but I think Bryan Cranston. Now here's the thing with Cranston. He also, like Fassbender, like Redmayne, and like Leo, has shown up everywhere. Critics' Choice, BAFTA, Golden Globes, I think I said Critics' Choice, didn't I? Yeah. Anyways, Oscars too. Shown up everywhere, including here at SAG. So I'm starting to think, you know what? Everybody went into SAG last year thinking Michael Keaton he's got this, right? I mean, he's in a film that and we predicted Birdman correctly to win ensemble. We've got the speeches. We had Leonardo DiCaprio's speech at the Golden Globes was really well received. And Keaton's speech last year at the Golden Globes was, I mean, he even cried during it. I mean, that was a very nice play on his part. And I think, yeah, definitely for that, even though I had him out to win, even from August of last year, Keaton before Redmayne won here, um, after Golden Globes, I was like, oh God, he's got to win this. I mean, that speech was, I mean, that's just, and then he won Critics' Choice. So yeah, everything started to line up for him. But then this happened, SAG last year, and Eddie Redmayne took it from him and won. Now here's the thing I'm thinking with that. Maybe then what the explanation for that was okay. Maybe number one, first of all, Redmayne campaigned very hard. I was not firsthand there to see it, but just from every last person on the internet that I watched, either in video or read through a blog post or an Oscar report or whatever you want to call it, everybody said Redmayne was on the streets everywhere, shaking every hand and greeting every voter and slapping backs and everything, whatever expression you want to use. He went around to everybody, and he phoned into radio shows, and he appeared on all the TV circuits and stuff. He went everywhere, and he charmed him. He charmed the hell out of him, and I think that's probably part of the reason that he won last year here at SAG, and then went on to win the Oscar. Another reason too, maybe, is because maybe everybody who was voting here was starting to think, you know what, I think everybody else is going to vote for Michael Keaton, so I'll put in maybe me personally, I loved Keaton in the movie, but I liked Redmayne just so much better, so that they put down Redmayne instead of Keaton. I'm starting to think we could see that happen this year, but not with Michael Fassbender to win here. Maybe with Bryan Cranston, of all people. You know why? Okay, so yeah, that's the first reason is, yeah, maybe everybody says, oh, Leo's going to win this thing already. Leo's going to win this thing. Everybody else is going to vote for Leo. I'm going to put down Bryan. Or I'll put down, probably he's the best option here. I'll put down Bryan Cranston. I mean, he loved him in Breaking Bad, And everybody, I think, especially here at SAG, loved Trumbo, evidently, because it has the most nominations of all the films, 3 nominations, including Film Ensemble. And he also, in case you didn't know, SAG also has, what do they call it? AFTA, or whatever they call it. But that's a big, that's pretty much the TV, too, the TV people. So, and Cranston, I mean, you look at the number of people in the last, 5-10 years or so who have gone from TV, being very popular on TV, to being equally as popular on screen. I mean, people like Chris Pratt, if you count Ashton Kutcher, maybe, but that '70s show going into films. And there's a couple other examples. You could name Idris Elba, maybe. I mean, he did Luther and stuff first. So, and there's probably other examples, but I'm blanking on them right now. Cranston has got to be at the top of that list. I mean, incredible work too on Breaking Bad. I've just started. Actually, never had seen it until just a little over a month ago or so. And I really, really enjoyed it, a lot of it so far, and Cranston was at the forefront of that, definitely. And so yeah, those TV people, they love him so much, they'll write him as number one. They'll put him over Leo. Some of them will. I'm sure they will. It's will it be enough is the question here. And on top of that too, if you look at it, Cranston went from TV. He did all of his TV stuff, finished Breaking Bad. Did a couple films, then he also did a play with playing LBJ. I can't remember what the title of the play was, but he went on to win the Tony right afterwards. So, I mean, with a track record like that, you go into TV, start winning. He won tons of Emmys for Breaking Bad. Ended up winning SAG and Golden Globes and Critics' Choices and all sorts of stuff for his work on Breaking Bad. Now it's a film category, and sure, they've awarded him before, but that's on the TV side. That's a different system almost. Sure, but yeah, I'm starting to think, and it was just like a crazy kind of feeling that I kind of all of a sudden had. It was just last evening here, and I started to think, you know what, Cranston might be a viable option here. And he plays, and another key point maybe that helped Redmayne was playing Stephen Hawking, a real life person, whereas the character Michael Keaton played in Birdman was fictional. So, and sure, Leo is playing Hugh Glass, a real person, but really, I think, and of course, Dalton Trumbo is a real person too. And as a matter of fact, when you look at all five of these nominees, all five of them are playing a real person. So, yeah, sure, that might not be the best, opposition here to bring up. But everybody, or not everybody, I shouldn't say, but between the two of them, Hugh Glass and Dalton Trumbo, let's say 3, 4, 5 months ago, you say, okay, these two people, which one of them are you more familiar with? It's going to be hands over feet, Bryan Cranston's character, Dalton Trumbo. So maybe playing a more recognizable real life person might help him here too. Um, yeah, so I'm starting to think Cranston could crash that party big time. And if he's going to start anywhere, I mean, I don't think he starts winning BAFTA all of a sudden and then he goes on to win the Oscar. I don't think that happens. I think he would have to start here, and plus on top of that, he's got all the TV people voting for him too. Not all of them, obviously, but all the TV people who are going to vote for him. You don't have as many of those over at BAFTA, if any. I don't know how the whole breakdown goes at BAFTA as far as voters go, but yeah, if he's going to win anywhere, it'll be here. And I think this could be a big turnaround sign. And if Leo is going to lose anywhere, it's going to be here at SAG. And I still have Leo winning, but I'm not totally unconvinced that he's that Cranston is going to win. Okay, so we're going to move on now to the final category, film ensemble. Okay, your nominees are Beasts of No Nation, The Big Short, Spotlight, Straight Outta Compton, and Trumbo. I don't see really anybody, Beasts of No Nation or Straight Outta Compton, getting way too many votes. Again, maybe the whole Oscars so white might put maybe Straight Outta Compton in a position to maybe take over the other three here, but I don't think so. I don't think so. If that had won like a PGA or something, then I'd say, okay, maybe it wins, and I might bump it up to second or third place. I've got it in fourth right now. Trumbo I have in third place just because, well, it has the most nominations, could potentially win actor, potentially. Or, but at the same time, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I have The Big Short in second, Spotlight in first. Now, here's the thing. We've seen it a couple of times here, like last year, Birdman did not win any individual acting awards here at SAG, and it went on to win ensemble. American Hustle did the same the year before. Argo did the same the year before. I think, didn't The Artist? No, that lost to The Help. The Help had a couple of more wins, though. That had like 3 wins throughout the night, so that was, unstoppable at that point. I think King's Speech had Colin Firth and stuff, so, and I think Inglourious Bastards had Christoph Waltz. So it's we've had a 2-year run here or 3-year rather, sorry, where your best film ensemble winner doesn't win any individual acting awards. And not to say that you need to have that, to win here. So The Big Short and Spotlight both only have one individual actor nominated, and that's of course for Big Short Christian Bale and for Spotlight Rachel McAdams. And at the moment, I don't have either one of them winning, so I think it definitely comes down to those two. And Big Short, I think, has in a way an advantage because the PGA win, definitely. Don't say that's irrelevant here. It's relevant because obviously, if you look at what the what's the word I'm looking for? What the letters mean: SAG, Screen Actors Guild. And then PGA's Producers Guild. This is another guild award. This is the industry voters. These are the big ones that you have to pay attention to. Yeah, like I said in the other video there, this is where with PGA, that's where Birdman started its turn last year, where The King's Speech started that turn in 2010. And yeah, so if Big Short is going to be our Best Picture winner, it's more than likely going to win here too. But at the moment, I still have Spotlight winning, and I still, for the moment, have Spotlight winning picture at the Oscars. You have to think about it too. PGA sometimes does do some, I guess you could say, boneheaded moves. I mean, 2006, when The Departed ended up winning Best Picture, they went with Little Miss Sunshine, which also won at SAG, as I recall. And then lost DGA to, I don't think the director of that film was even nominated at DGA. If he was, then he lost, of course, to Martin Scorsese. And we can look back like The Crying Game. There's a couple other examples. I think let's see, I brought up those other ones the other day. I think, do I still have that? I don't think so. No, I had there were 3 films there that where PGA, DGA, and SAG all split as far as who won the top award there. I'm trying to think here. What was it I was looking at there? The Aviator. Yeah, The Aviator's another one. Lost Best Picture and didn't have any other support from the guilds as far as top wins. What was the other example I was thinking of? Beautiful Mind lost PGA to Moulin Rouge. So sometimes they do go for those different films, but at the same time, I don't think Big Short is what we would call like a different film. I mean, not the way not the way Moulin Rouge was, not the way. Well, it would probably be more in line like with The Aviator or with Little Miss Sunshine, where you go with a film that's nominated for Best Picture. Has a chance to win maybe 1 or 2 awards here and there throughout the Oscar night. For example, Little Miss Sunshine, Alan Arkin was a pretty easy pick there for supporting actor that year. And Cate Blanchett was maybe not obvious, but a pretty safe pick for supporting actress for The Aviator. Even The Crying Game back then, some people were putting Jay Davidson down instead of who won that year? Shoot, was that Jack Palance that year, or was that? I think that was the year before. Yeah, I think he won. Yeah, he won the same year as Silence of the Lambs, so that wasn't right. Gosh, who won that? 92. Why am I on the spot here? I ought to know these. Boy, whoever it was. I'm trying to name off all the other best. Unforgiven. There we go. Gene Hackman. I couldn't think of it. Yeah. So, yeah, but still, I mean, yeah, you could have seen either or Gene Hackman or Jay Davidson winning that year. Anyways, so now that we've lost all train of thought, The Big Short. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that where I can come up with that excuse and say that's the reason I'm going with Spotlight. And I think I'll go back to the well that I've been kind of using here, which was, I said, even if Spotlight ends up losing everything else, and so far it's come up short in a few places. It won Critics' Choice, but it lost the Globe, lost PGA. I mean, look at that cast. I mean, that's Michael Keaton, Mark Ruffalo, Rachel McAdams, John Slattery, Stanley Tucci, Liev Schreiber. I mean, my God, what a cast. You think about it, all of them really touch that a different angle here. I mean, Ruffalo, he's a double or a triple now Oscar nominee, including his nomination here for this film at the Oscars. He plays the Hulk in one of the biggest running franchises at the moment. Keaton, he's a veteran. He's been around for a long time. Arguably should have won the Oscar last year. McAdams, has done a couple of those like Nicholas Sparks romantic comedies and stuff, and some of them are really good too. Like I saw one About Time from a couple of years ago. She really shined in that, I thought. She's a talented actress, and she's an Oscar nominee too. Let's see here. Then Slattery, that's your TV people, big on Mad Men for so many years. And then Schreiber and Tucci I have kind of in the same bracket, which is they've worked with everybody. I mean, they've literally, and I've said this many times, but you're hard pressed to find somebody who hasn't worked with either Liev Schreiber or Stanley Tucci. I mean, they do like 3 or 4 films a year. And Schreiber, I mean, he did Pawn Sacrifice last year. He did this film. I think what was it? The new one that just opened, Fifth Wave. He's in. I've heard in a smaller role, but he was in that. There's maybe 1 or 2 other ones I'm missing, but he's been really busy. Tucci, I mean, with the Hunger Games franchise, and he's also an Oscar nominee with Lovely Bones from a few years ago. He's worked on all sorts of projects we can go back to that have Oscar pedigree and Oscar nominations and stuff. Yeah, so really, I think the only other people in the cast that they would have had, which would make this an even safer bet, would be like a Paul Giamatti or people like that who, again, work with everybody and do every project that comes across their desk. Like Michael Caine or somebody like that. Funny enough, Straight Outta Compton has Paul Giamatti in it. Anyway, so that's really what I'm gonna stick with my guns until I'm wrong on that one with Spotlight. And I think going forward here, Big Short, if it wins here at SAG, I don't think I'll put it ahead at DGA. I still think that's going to be either Miller or Inarritu. And I think at this point, yeah, if Spotlight loses this one and with PGA, I'll drop it out for Best Picture and probably either put in The Big Short. Again, that's the other presumed winner here, unless something crazy happens like Trumbo. Then I'll probably keep Spotlight ahead. But yeah, Big Short. If it wins here, I'm gonna put it in as #1 for Best Picture. Like I said, unless Spotlight, if it wins DGA, Spotlight does, then I might change my tune because it's been a long time. I want to say almost, if I'm right here, and I haven't double checked this, so I might be wrong here. I think the last time we had somebody win DGA whose film either did not win Best Picture or the director did not win the Oscar, one or the other. I think we have to go back to Ang Lee for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where he lost director and the film didn't win Best Picture. That's 15 years ago. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, so like with a standing like that, if Spotlight somehow pulled off DGA and Tom McCarthy won that, oh boy, then then I'll put Spotlight back ahead because that's craziness. And then at that rate, it would probably, I would expect at that point, win BAFTA too, just as an inference. But yeah, I think with Big Short also has a strong presence at BAFTA. It's gonna, if Big Short definitely wins here, yeah, it's gonna come down to that and The Revenant. I think for Best Picture at BAFTA, with Spotlight only has writing for original screenplay, Ruffalo, and picture nominations. So I have that in second or third at the moment at BAFTA. Even Bridge of Spies, I think, might have a better shot at that point at BAFTA. But yeah, that's not coming up for a few more weeks, so we don't have to worry quite about that as much yet. But at the same time here, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna stick with my guns, stick with Spotlight, and until Big Short wins. But I'm not gonna be too shocked if Big Short wins. And at that point, like I said, yeah, I'll go ahead and jump off the Spotlight bandwagon and go with the Big Short until something else crazy happens. Yeah, by the end of it, we're going to be saying, oh, it's either going to be Room or it's going to be Brooklyn for Best Picture or something crazy like that. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I think I said this in the previous video here, but I'm not sure. I do not have where I'm at right now a cable connection or even a TV for that matter. So if I'm going to watch these live, it'll have to be through an online streaming or something. I don't know if they even offer that. I know they do the red carpet of all shitty things, but then they don't do the ceremony. I think I tried that last year, but maybe they'll have it this time. I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, and if that's the case, if I'm able to watch, then I'll record and edit the whole thing together, and we'll do a live reactions to that. But we'll have to see. So, with that out of the way, SAG, please be good to me.